Okay, yeah. So I'm glad we've got all those intros throughout. And if you want, yeah, asking questions is great. And I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go to there. There we are. And I'm going to play. Okay. So, oh, let me just find, I just need to pull up the chat. Where's the chat? God, there it is. Cool. If I get picked out, contact with the limit. No, actually, honestly, the opposite is true. Deckable is going to help your publisher is a selling point to get your deck seen more. And it's a sales and distribution tool because we'll help you get found, help you people discover your deck and understand what it is and promote the magic of your deck. Okay, so let's get going. So Deckable, you know, we say it with cards in Deckable, and if you're unaware of it, which I think all of you are, this alphabet is made from Deckable, made in Deckable from, you can make the alphabet from your deck, from the artwork from your deck. In one click, you can make each letter. And then I can use to say it with cards, say welcome, say whatever the message is in your deck, I can use your artwork to do this. One of the most important things about marketing your deck is being interesting, which means not being boring and doing the same old stuff and sharing the same old images again and again and again, right? So Deckable makes it fun, and I'm going to show you some more as we go through. That's a feature of the collaging tool. So we can lay out the cards visually in a visually interesting format for you in one click. It's ridiculously easy, but it's ridiculously important to stay relevant and interesting across social media. By the way, if you guys are on Instagram, you can follow us at deckable.cards on Instagram. And you can also follow me at Nick Kellett on Instagram as well. And these on the left-hand side are just some of the decks from Vervante that are on Deckable. We ran a webinar just about a year ago now, and a whole bunch of people jumped onto Deckable from that. We have a lot of traction. We have 500 decks on Deckable, so we've basically learned a lot, and it just keeps getting better. And so you'll see here that we've got our focus for today is we're just going to give you an update on Deckable, the things that have happened to us in the last 12 months, give you an update what's coming with our website, on what's happening in the marketplace in general, and our new products as we move forward, because Deckable is a moving target. It is not done. We are creating something very big and exciting, and you're really in on the ground floor. So it's a wonderful opportunity to be in so early. So let's meet the team. Me, my background is a tech entrepreneur. I invent things for a living. I've done a lot of technology, but I've also published a board game. I published a board game called Gift Trap that sold 100,000 copies. It won 20 plus awards worldwide, including a Spiel des Jahres prize, which is like the Oscar of board games. And it sold in 14 languages worldwide. So I speak from a position of loving card, right? And it's probably the fact that I'm a technologist who loves card decks that helped me see the opportunity for Deckable in identifying that the world needed a product like Deckable. And then basically the rest of the team is Mark and I have known each other for years. We sold our companies to Business Objects, and so that's how we met. At the same time we were working there. And Paul and Jason have joined us. They're part of Mark's team for different things done along the way. So we have a really solid, this is a very serious piece of software, and we have a very capable software team to build it. And we're, 2 years into the journey, but there's a long way to go. We've come a long way. To have 500 decks, you'll see everything there is pretty amazing. And literally we can load a deck. I'm skilled in the art of loading decks, but I can load a deck in 10 minutes. But it might take you an hour the first time you do it, right? But it's really easy. And once you've loaded your deck on Deckable, you can play with it on your phone for real. That is so satisfying. You don't have to wait for the print run to get approval to come back and check. You can actually have it on your phone. So the idea is when you're designing products, before you get it printed, you would have it on your phone. You would have had it on your phone for 3 months before you get to that printing stage, right? So one of the things to point out is this is an innovation. This is a life-changing experience with DEckible. And anything that's new and innovative, there is always an adoption curve. There are innovators, early adopters, and etc. And if we think about it, like, maybe some of you dived in and tried an Uber early on, but maybe some of you thought, why am I doing that? That's crazy. Maybe some of you loved Airbnb, and some of you thought, why am I staying in somebody else's house? That's weird, right? And all these things are valid and fair and true. We all adopt some things early and some things late. And DEckible is this innovation. The world needs this. It makes sense. We have successfully adopted our music digitally via Spotify and iTunes. Our movies have gone digital, and our books have gone digital. Everything's gone digital. So your modern consumer expects to have this device in their phone and do everything they want from here, right? And so, one of the things, often people who are very card centric have a paper mindset, and I'm a huge fan of paper, but it's also super amazing to have this in your phone, in your pocket at any point in time. So that's where we are. It's just important to recognize. And one of the points of being on the adoption cycle is to recognize you need to just repeat stuff. You need to tell people often what it is. Don't be fazed by people saying, what, you mean I can have a card deck on my phone? Or what does that mean? Tell people, be expressive in communicating that, because they won't know. DEckible has picked up considerable momentum, and we've reached 500 decks to this point. But Michelle Matsuta she has got 4 decks, and they're all published with Schiffer right now. So she's with a big publisher, and she joined DEckible and she brought 1 deck. And her first comment was, I don't think I'm going to use DEckible very much. And then her second comment was, oh, I think I'm going to use DEckible quite a lot now that she'd started using it. So she uses it a lot personally, and she's now added the rest of her decks to DEckible because she's seen what it does, and she's seen it selling her decks, and she's believes in it. And she's also introduced us to Schiffer, the publisher. Chris Hay has the Messages of Love Oracle deck. And that, if you'd recognize it, because it's probably the most shared deck on TikTok. For some reason, she did a wonderful job, and everyone on TikTok who's influential adopted her deck. So she loaded that deck onto DEckible, and she's now loaded all 7 of her decks. And she introduces to Rebel Deck, who's about to load her 4 decks onto DEckible as well. So, and Deborah was very, awesome. She jumped on board and loaded her 3 decks. She's been with US Games for 27 years or something like that. She's now introduced us to US Games. These are all people who've come to DEckible, trusted us. Our job is to look after these people. If you, the creator, are not happy, we're not happy, because you are our future, right? And so we're more focused on looking after creators than we are customers at this moment. We want to make sure you're happy and that you understand what's happening and how it all works. So, here's some of our community. So here we've got, there's Cindy. We've got a bunch of people who have courses on card deck creation. All these people will teach card deck creation. And all these people are on DEckible. And not just on DEckible, super fans of DEckible, right? So these people love DEckible and brought many people to the platform.
So you find their courses on DEckible to learn how to create a card?
Some of them, who's got a card deck? So Jen Barnfield has a deck on DEckible for that. Rosie has a deck for that. Marcy and Anna's courses are more kind of community based, delivered from their website. But yeah, they're all.
I'm wanting to know, how do I get to that information? Because I've never.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Well, one, there's going to be a replay available of this video, but if you Google any of these people, and if you type them into DEckible's homepage, you'll find all their decks.
Rosie. Okay.
So you can screenshot that and Google any of these people. You'll find them all on DEckible. And these, oh, by the way, these cards are made by DEckible. This artwork. So this would be you. You could have your image and your card deck and your QR code all there, one click. That's how easy it is. That's because we've made it fun and possible to market the living hell out of your deck, because you need to do that, right? So here's an example of 3 other creators on Deckable, and these are their meme cards. So there's their deck, color coordinated, the card matches them. There's their bio, their photo, their QR code, right? So you can scan the QR code and get to the deck on Deckable. Really, very simple. We have some really cool decks coming on Deckable. This is a work in progress. This is a deck of emotions, and every one of these cards in the deck is a circle, and you can pinch and zoom them because it's digital. We have stretchy paper on Deckable, right? We're not stuck to the physical size of the card. We can actually use this to express your emotions by pinching and zooming. I'm a little bit buried, but I'm more confused. I'm very excited, right? Whatever you can express yourself visually with a card deck on the phone. So that's fun. This is a super cool deck. This deck isn't launched yet, but we have analyzed and we've categorized the 19 different ways that people use card decks. So all of this goes every different way that you could possibly use a card deck. And then we've turned each of those into a card. So you can see shuffle. I've got shuffle, deal. You can see on the top right, that's the deal. That's a card, which is transparent, so it can stack over other cards. It's such a fun experience. So cool. I will demonstrate that if we get time later. But this is the tool we've decided we need to explain to people why card decks are so cool. Because if I asked everyone here, what percentage of the population do you think uses card decks right now? I asked a lady on a call just before this, and my hunch was sub 10%. Her response was 5%. I think it's probably true. We think that is, and we know for a fact that people who own card decks own 10, 20, or 50 decks. These people are not crazy. They have just found something that the rest of the population have not got yet. And card decks are hard to understand if you're not in it. They're hard to buy because you need to know which store and where to go to get them and look for them and find them. Our job is to make that simpler. And we believe we can at least 10x the size of the card deck market by making it simpler. And this deck that explains the 19 different ways you can use card decks is very compelling. If you want to receive a test version of this deck, just send me an email, nick@deckable.com, and say, the deck of ways, can I get a coupon? And you can download it. Probably won't be till the weekend because I'm still waiting for the next version of the artwork. But yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty cool. We're very happy with it. We think it really captures the magic of card decks. And there is something, I don't know, there is something magical about card decks. I think we're all here because we understand that. I don't know if this probably means nothing to you because you're all from North America, I'm assuming, but if anyone's here from the UK, you will know Russell Grant as a TV celebrity, and he was this kind of chief astrologer on breakfast TV for a lifetime. So I grew up with Russell Grant on TV, and this is his tarot deck that's been out of print for 20 years, but we've rescued it and it's now available on Deckable. And you see that artwork there with the fan of the deck, the box art and the cards? How long would it take you to make that? If I gave you all those images and even Canva or Photoshop, probably half an hour, 20 minutes, because you'd be deciding what to do with it. Do you know how long it took me in Deckable? One click. These are the creative tools that we're giving you to help market your deck. I can recreate that image every day with different images randomly for one click, 1 second done. That's how easy it is to do this on Deckable. We've also seen, because we're building and people are hearing about Deckable, we've to this point, this slide deck is about 3 or 4 weeks old. We now have extra people who've joined us from Insight Timer. There are 17,000 teachers on Insight Timer. It's a very high, it's probably one of the most used meditation and journaling apps out there. And their users are bringing their content to Deckable because they can see the potential for card decks, integrated meditation, journey. Because by the way, I don't know if I've mentioned, but we can have audio and video with every card. So we can create this, rich media experience that is words, text, images, audio, video. So that's we think that's super motivating. We are creating a category, right? And this is important to understand. So digital card decks is a new thing. We haven't just digitized a card deck. We created this amazing experience for the phone. And so, when you're creating something, assume nothing and repeat everything. So don't be afraid to tell your audience why and how they should have a deck in their pocket, right? It just remember when you probably don't remember, but when the iPod launched, there was a tagline. You know what the tagline was? 1,000 songs in your pocket. 1,000 songs is about 100 albums. It was a wonderful metaphor because you think, how can I fit 100 albums in my pocket? I could have fit 100 CDs or 100 cassettes in my pocket. I can't, right? And it's similar for Deckable. We can fit all those decks in your pocket. So don't be afraid to tell people and explain to people why. And when you've used Deckable, and I strongly recommend you all use Deckable on a daily basis to journal and meditate. If you do it, you'll understand the product, and then you'll be able to help sell your product to your customers and help your products use your decks for journaling and meditation as you go. It's taken us a long time to get there, but we have broken down the card deck industry into 7 segments. There's many segments below this, but this is a really simple way of explaining all the different types. So we've got card decks for workplace and for designing strategy and branding. We've got card decks for tarot, oracle, and spirituality. We've got card decks for creativity and ideation. We've got card decks to deal with mankind and wellness and therapy. We've got card decks to do with digital learning, games, and challenges. Who's done a 30-day challenge? Anyone done a 30-day challenge here? Show of hands. Imagine 30-day challenges using a card deck. It's a perfect fit, right? So Deckable, that's a core feature. You'll see more about that in a minute. And choices, prompts, and workbooks. We make life choices, and you can do that in much more fun way with a card deck. So a deck of values, a deck of emotions, a deck of strengths. These are all examples, right? But there's hundreds of examples that you can turn decks into choices, and that helps people, live a better life because they realize the choices that they're making. We're trying to create a bigger market with Deckable. Category for life stories. Well, I'm not sure what that is, Sheila. Category for life stories. Okay. I would fit that under mankind, but we would, by the way, if we get a cluster of decks that are in a similar genre, we create a sub-segment for that, and we create a landing page for all of those decks because that gives us SEO, helps you get found. So if we actually got together a series of life stories decks, we would actually create a category for it and help promote it. So that answers your question. And then here's some examples, right? In the workplace and strategies deck, here are some of the decks that are available. It's just a subset of the decks, but you can get to see that's a lot of decks, right, in that category. Here's some tarot and oracle decks. Some amazing decks in here. Beautiful. But they're all available. You can buy them all right now. They're on your phone as soon as you bought them. Wellness and therapy decks. We've got DBT, we've got CBT, we've got ACT, we've got, archetype decks, whole range of things. It's all there on Deckable. It's so incredible. One of the things that's really super interesting to me is that the big names and celebrities have noticed card decks. So Esther Perel, who's heard of Esther Perel? Very famous TED Talk by Esther Perel. She's a sex therapist. Her text talk is amazing. She's so well known. She's got millions, she's up there with Brené Brown. Anyway, she produced a board game, which is really a card deck and a deck of questions, right? That's sold out. She has 1 million followers. Mark Groves, 1 million followers. Relationship card deck, sold out. Stephen Bartlett, Diary of a CEO, question deck, sold out. So this is not game over. This is just beginning. The card deck industry is becoming more and more dominant and more potential here. So we're going to be printing and selling and creating card decks because card decks, we live in a goldfish economy with people very short spans of attention. And when you package up your story into something visual and meaningful and memorable and pocket-sized, it gets into people's heads, right? One of the things I wanted to say, how many times have you read a book and thought, wow, this book's going to change my life? And then what did we do? Did it change your life? I can tell you, it's happened to me many times. And my conclusion is, I was like, I read the next book and then I forget to put the book into action. And that's the wonderful thing about card decks. They're a tool that's in your pocket to put the big ideas into action. So, okay. So this is our roadmap for DEckible, the next 3 releases. So we're pretty close to releasing trials. And what that means is once we release trials, anyone can download your deck for free and try it for 3 days. And then after 3 days, everything just locks up. They can't use it anymore. They can't go back to their prior readings and journals because they're on a deck they've been trialing. But at any point, and right there and then, they can say, yes, I choose to buy this deck. And now they've got use of that deck forever for their lifetime on their phone. And so that's trials. And when you accept that DEckible and digital decks are new, the idea of saying, buy this, pay me now before you get the deck is a huge obstacle. It's a huge piece of friction, which we're removing with trials, right? So now people can't object. Oh, I'm not going to spend that because I don't know what I'm getting. They can actually get your deck, fall in love with it for 3 days, and then choose to buy it or not, right? And the cool thing is, and you'll see in a minute, you get some amazing metrics from that. Because you get to see, is my deck as good as I think? Are people buying it after they trialed it? Oh, maybe I need to fix something. Why did they not buy it? Maybe I can find out, right? So DEckible can help you create a better product because of the amount of data. You do not know with your card deck how people use it. You get no data back from the card deck, how it's used. Where with DEckible, we do. We know which cards are used, how often, where, which way, etc. Right? So we have lots of insights. The second big thing, which will be 3 months later, will be our challenges. So you can already run a challenge on DEckible, but the next release will give us features that will say, okay, here's your 30-day challenge, and you'll get an alert on your phone that said, here's day 1, come get your card. Here's day 2, come get your card. So you won't get access to the full deck. You'll have to turn up every day to get the next piece of the challenge. And the cool thing about challenges, there's 2 audiences involved. There's people that see the challenge and want to join in, who then have to buy your deck to participate in the challenge, or they could join the challenge for 3 days, try it for free, and then buy your deck, right? And then the other audience are the supporters, people who are cheerleading for saying, great, you're doing great, you're going to do that run, you're fantastic on that challenge, well done, you can make it, keep going. And both of those people can get involved because they can cheer you along. So that's an interesting part of challenges. And then the 3 months later, our plan is to release membership decks, which is basically a deck that you get monthly access to. So you create a community around your deck where you're creating money from that deck from everyone who bought it every month. So it becomes much more interesting because there's more money to be made. And when people buy membership, they're buying 3 things. They're buying access to you, they're buying access to your content, and they're buying access to everyone else who's bought your content. People like them. And that's the magical piece of it, right? So you're buying access to a community, ongoing collaborating, and rather than just having to sell your deck once, you're selling your deck or selling access to that every month. So that's, we think, is pretty cool. So let's have a look at some of the workflows. And if I've got time, I'll go through and show you the product rather than just showing you screenshots. But I'm just going to jump through this so we can cover off what DEckible can do. So here we are. First screen is actually I'm going to jump out of here while I'm doing this. Stop the share and come back to. I'll show you because I've got the videos here. Sure, it's more fun. Open recent. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Back to Zoom and share. And keynote. There we go. All right. So doesn't come in. All right. So here we are. This is the DEckible workflow. And on the first screen, we get, this is my homepage of DEckible, where I get to explore all the decks at the top. And you'll watch here as I can scroll up and down. Every one of these stacks of cards is a prior reading from a different deck. And any one of those I can click on, open up, and explore the card. See, I flip the card over and I can pinch and zoom the card to make it bigger so I can explore. We keep every reading you ever do. So on Tuesday, I pulled, this card. On Friday, I pulled this card. We never forget that. And that's magical, because when you're on a personal growth path, when you get despondent, when you look back and you see how much effort, I call it my done list, when all the things you've done are more important sometimes than what you plan to do. Keeping moving is what's important. So that's the explore piece. And then this is the journaling. So anytime I see a card just a minute, I'm going to start that again. I wasn't quite. So as I journal on the card, I click on it. I can type with my fingers on the keyboard, or I can talk to my phone and it transcribes my thoughts into words. Now, we all have excuses why we don't do things. So sometimes it's I don't have paper. I can't journal because I haven't got paper. I haven't got a pen, right? I can't type. All those reasons are gone. Now with DEckible, you've got your phone. You don't need paper. You don't need a pen, and you don't need to type. You can just talk. So there it is. It's that simple. And then, oops, I'm back. And the meditation is just, you can set a timer on any given card and it counts down the timer. And it logs for that you've meditated on that card for that period of time. So it's very simple, but it pulls together. You could meditate on your card. So that's a powerful feature within the kind of wellness mindset of DEckible. And then it logs that away. Any point in time, we can do a quick draw, which is just to choose 1 or 2, 3 cards at random. And that's really powerful. So here I've chosen 2 cards and it just chooses 2 cards for me from the deck in one click. And that, quite honestly, is the most common entry-level usage of a card deck, is to pick a deck and draw 1, 2, or 3 cards at random. And DEckible makes that exceptionally easy and fun and rewarding. Once you see those cards, you can pinch and zoom them, flip them over, flip to the 3rd slide, flip to the guidebook. We integrate the guidebook, by the way, so we don't have to go looking for things. It's just there. It's paper has 2 sides. Digital decks have 3, 4, 5, 6. You choose, right? So we don't have any limits there. And then we give you the ability to recall, to look back, to reflect on what you've done before. Read your prior journal notes. This is impressive to be able to have this full log. And half the reason people quit and get bored and use different tools all the time is because the app isn't fun to use and it isn't varied enough. And with DEckible, you've got 500 decks to choose from. You're never going to get bored. Just buy another deck. Your wellness routine just keeps rolling. You choose the card. You choose the deck. Or let the universe choose. It's up to you. You can choose a random deck and random cards. It's really simple. Digitally, we can find a card in the deck quicker than you can physically. We can filter by suit. So just give me all the, major arcana. Give me the minor arcana. Give me this type of card. That you choose this. You choose the types of card based on your deck. We can search for cards by name. We can filter, and we can share those cards with friends. So it's really simple. And then shuffling is fun. Shuffling is a really important part of the platform. And you'll see here, we're shuffling a deck, right? And you actually have an influence over the shuffle. So when you stop, you can click the card at any point and it'll stop the shuffle. So it's not just some for show shuffle, you're actually influencing it. The second piece here is flip. So I've talked about cards having 3 sides. This deck has got 3 sides. And then you can choose a card, wherever you see it on the canvas. Again, you can flip it at any point, zoom in, it's just fun. It's tactile, it's engaging because you've got this on your phone. And then one of the most classic uses of card decks is a card sort. So if you have who's done a value, anyone done a values card sort? So you choose what your values are from a deck of cards and you go, that's not me, that's not me, that might be me, that's definitely me. And you make that hard choice. Well, we can do that with Deckable. And I just choose and cluster cards into groups. And depending what's on the cards, those groups have different meanings, up to you, but it's very simple. That's how you play with it. It's that simple. And everything you see that's on a phone here works on a tablet too. And we will have a desktop version. So we'll have a version of Deckable for the computer, which will work in exactly the same way. And I mentioned audio.
Card number 2. Om Mani Padme Hum.
So here we've got a card that has an audio track associated with it. Right? So I can listen, I can actually pay to have you read me. When I buy your deck, I can listen to you reading me the card. I would much rather have the author of the deck read it to me because I get the full passion, the full intonation, the full excitement, the full explanation. I get the backstory, whatever you want to tell me about the card, right? You don't have to do that, but it's there as an option if you want to. And if you're more of
I'll start with this. A couple of years
ago, if you're
ago,
more of a video person than an audio person, you can have videos too, right? Here's a really cool example. So this is a card deck. If the first one is the back of the deck, the second one is the face, and the third one is the guidebook. And all we do is just flip, flip, flip. I mean, the number of times people do card readings and don't look at the manual because they felt time pressured. It was too much effort to flick through the book. Excuse gone, right? Can't lose the guidebook because it's attached. It's not separate. It's just there. It's easy. We can share cards easily. We can share them publicly or inside within Deckable to other Deckable users. That's nice and simple. And what we've done is a really cool job of blending and somewhat stealing the best of tarot and the best of card sorts and bringing it into one, right? So you saw a little bit of this example before, but this is the value sort. So I pick a deck, I choose the deck, I choose some cards that I think are my values. So I've chose achievement, and I'm going to choose belonging and collaboration, etc. Right? And so once I've chosen the cards, and it's human nature, we always choose too many because you always have to whittle down your card sorts to a few cards. So once I've chosen the cards, I can then move on to doing the card sort, which is the next stage where I now group the cards into, I want to pick 3 cards, or I see how I can prioritize this visually. So I can say freedom is more important than curiosity. When someone's doing this, they are absolutely 100% engaged. They are focused. They are having fun. It's not work. If this was a surveying tool, you would be bored to tears by now, ticking boxes and checking, and you would be emotionally tuned out. And the data you'd be getting back from the survey would be invalid because people were just getting through the job. When you do this with Deckable, you are 100% focused and engaged. And it's fun and meaningful and memorable and visual, right? And we all learn differently. So having that full tactile kinesthetic experience with Deckable is important. So if you're a coach, you may not have thought of it this way, but we looked at tarot spreads and went, these are just a way of structuring questions. And that's what we've built into Deckable. So we've stolen the idea from tarot, but we've made it accessible to every coach to help them guide their clients through a structured process to ask questions. So in Deckable, you pick the deck, you pick the spread, you drop the cards into the spread, you flip it over, and you've got everything that you need to understand that spread and the meaning of those cards. And then the last piece of Deckable is just reminders and alerts. So there we go. That bit's done. I can stop and read the chat now. Stop the share. Okay. So let me see. She's great. Yeah, exactly. Emotion wheel is great, right? I love emotion wheels. How well does it work for me if cards are too? Oh, if you have do you mean, Jane, sorry, you mean that each side of your card has got a unique you're sounding, yeah. But for whatever, Jane, for whatever reason, I don't know quite what it is, but you sound like kind of your microphone is your microphone isn't working. And you, Jane, I don't know if we can't actually hear. We can't hear you. And if you want to type the question or your response into the chat, yeah, everyone is muted, I think, except for Jane at that point. So it's not that issue. So basically, I think the question might have been, okay, cool. I answered the question. Great, thank you. So I'm just checking through the questions. The typical cost of a 48 card deck to a consumer percent to autism. Okay, so basically, this is your art, so you get to price your product, not us. We guide you to currently. We look at it. The way I think about it is, I think about a printed hardback book. Say a printed hardback book is $30. The Kindle is probably going to be somewhere around 15, 16, sort of 50% more or less. And we think that's an understandable model for people to say, oh, my deck is $30 or $40. The digital version should be 20. And over time, you can see why DEckible might be, the price of DEckible decks might go up because they include audio, video, they've got extra things involved, right? But we are early, per my slides earlier saying we are early in the card deck adoption space. So I'd encourage you not to overprice your deck, but let's focus on bringing more people to the platform, and then there's more people to buy more decks for more people and more decks to buy too, right? So, okay, I think everyone needs to got that. If we have a live story question card, there are no text limits, so that's good. You answer the question. How many active users are? We're not releasing those numbers right now. We are very focused on supporting you, the creators, and so and one of the maybe we missed at the beginning, but we are here to support the creators. If you're not happy, we're not happy, and we're more focused on happy creators. When we have happy creators across the board for everything, then our focus shifts to consumers and consumer adoption and mass market. And we're getting close to that because we've basically been at this about a year, and we've just been iterating. We've moved, when we launched DEckible, we had 250 decks. We now have over 500 decks published on DEckible. We have over 1,000 creators signed up. There are new people joining, new decks loaded every day at this point. So we're building, our traction is really on the way up. And so that's our focus, is to look after you. And we think, as I mentioned before, our user adoption is going to skyrocket when we have trials. And trials is the next release due out during November. So that's the big thing. How do we sign up to DEckible? You just go to DEckible.com, you sign up and validate your email. Then somewhere inside DEckible, it asks you very quickly, are you a creator or just a deck lover? How do we design with DEckible? Oh, okay. Sorry. I'll answer that question, and then I'll talk about the fees. Okay, great. So basically on DEckible, you already have artwork. I assume you have a deck on Vervante. So literally the artwork from Vervante you can upload that to DEckible. We have a video. It's a self-service platform. The video is about 20 minutes long. Hundreds of people have been through that process, and you can step through uploading your deck very simply. If you are non-technical and don't want to do that, you can pay other people to do it for you. We have people that literally offer that service because people don't want to learn this. They just want to say, here's my artwork, can you do it for me? So if that's the case, we can connect you with one of those people, no problem. So yeah, by the way, also just technically we support JPEGs, PNGs, and GIFs. Each card in the deck can have a different aspect ratio. Each card in the deck can have as many faces as you want. Each card in the deck can have an audio or a video track to go with it. And each card in the deck can be in one or more suits. One or more can be tagged, which is like having a suit. And then you can filter by tags very easily. So that's kind of, and the upload process is we give you a spreadsheet, which is basically one row per card. You fill in the information, you upload the spreadsheet, and then DEckible knows about all your artwork at that point, and you just drag all your artwork in, and it goes, okay, great, this goes, and it sends all the artwork to all the right places, and that process is just super slick and quick. Okay, let's talk about fees, the important things. How do we make money here? Basically, you set the price for the deck, and then Apple, Google, the App Store take 15% off the top. So let's just say if it's $10, because it's a nice easy number, that means 150 goes to Apple. That leaves us 850 or 85%. And we do a 50-50 revenue share with you. So that means you make 42.5% of the selling price of the deck, or $425 if your deck costs $10. All right. If you want to pay someone, yeah. Is that with your company? We don't do the, Jane, we don't do the uploading ourselves, but we connect with members of the DEckible community. So, but if you've uploaded 6 decks, you could become one of those people that we're referring work to, right? So, but we have a number of people around the world, and we try and match people into the right time zone. So we've got someone that's kind of in the right time zone as you, who can upload your deck for you. Okay, thanks, Cindy. And so I think I've answered the questions. If your question hasn't been answered, you can either put up your hand or just drop it in at the end. Does anyone want to see a live demo of DEckible? Would that be cool? I don't know. You tell me what you want to. Please restate the revenue sharing. Okay, 15% goes to Apple, Google, the App Store. That leaves 85. 85 is 50-50 split, so that's 42.5. So you get 42.5, we get 42.5. You pay nothing to be on the platform, so that's why that works that way. Yes. Keith.
Okay, I have a question. This sounds really good to me. I do currently have the deck on Amazon and also Vervante, and I have it priced at $65. Okay. My deck is quite large. It's a 64 cards of the deck.
Okay.
It sounds very interesting to me because I mean, I'd like to do it. I mean, I'm very much for it. So I'm not technologically savvy, but I worked through it so I could put it on Amazon and Vervante. Yeah. My question is do I just go to my phone, go to DEckible app, and then I just do it myself and upload the file?
So there's one subtle shift. The app, DEckible app, is for the consumer to consume and experience your deck and journal and meditate on the phone. You go to DEckible.com as a creator, and that's the creator zone, right?
So I just do it myself.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So DEckible.com, and I just upload it, and I just upload the file that I have, like I uploaded to Vervante.
I think you give to Vervante a single PDF. I'm not sure. I think so.
Correct.
With DEckible, you need to split that PDF into PNGs or JPEGs. There are web services that split that are free, so you can easily split a PDF. I've done it many times. So that's really easy to do. And then once you've got the artwork, you just tell DEckible which piece of art goes on which side of which card, and then it's straightforward.
Okay, and you can make audio. You can actually, like, I could actually read the back of the deck. That'd be perfect.
Yeah. So you just record an MP3 file, and then you supply the MP3 to us, to the spreadsheet, the name of it, and you upload it, and then it plays in the app.
Yeah, if I was 15 years old, I'd know all this technology, but I'm not.
Yeah, that's okay. So good. Just questions. So if the customer has to buy via Apple, what if you're selling? Okay, so if you're selling a physical deck, then we link to the physical deck, right? So when you create a digital deck on Deckable, you can create a link from that deck that sends you to the Vervante buy page or whichever buy page you want to use, right? So we don't participate in that. We don't try and take an affiliate fee or anything. It's just, we pass your customer off to wherever you buy that from. So that makes it nice and simple. And our goal is really, as I said before, we are creating a bigger market for card decks, right? So there's a bigger pie means, a rising tide floats all boats. We are here to create more of a market, to bring more people to card decks, to teach people more about the magic of card decks. Yeah. How about anyone want to see deck? Should I show you Deckable for real, for live? Would that be valuable? You tell me. I mean, I'm here to help you guys in any which way you want. Whatever, just fire your questions. I'm more than happy to answer. Okay, let me go. So I've just plugged my iPad in, right? So my iPad is just wired up to my computer, and then from Zoom. So if you're doing a coaching session with your clients, this works, right? And if I wanted to, I could also Zoom it from my phone, right? So if I get time, I'll do both. So I do that, and there we go, and there it is. And there it is, right? So let me come back to, so this, I'm on, so here's my phone, here's my tablet, right? You can see what you're seeing on the screen there. And I just scroll across through the decks. I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna pick this deck, and I can pick 1, 2, or 3 cards at random. Just gonna choose one card and start. There it is. Flip it over. There's I can zoom in on the card, and I can type or I can talk to my tablet and record all my journal thoughts. It's that simple. Not that one. There we go. So that's it. And now as I come back out of there, you'll see on the 25th, there's the card I just drew. So we never forget anything, right? I want to see, what did I do yesterday? Or look at this card here. Look what I picked, right? Every card from any deck, I want to pick this deck. I'm going to do a free-form card sort. I'm going to shuffle the deck. So there's the deck being shuffled. I can stop it myself. I can flip, go back to there. I can flip the cards over if I want and shuffle on that face. So you can shuffle on the front, on the back, it's up to you. Stop at any point, drag 1 card in, drag 2 card in, close it down. There we go. What if I want to do a mixed reading? I just pick the deck button, and now I can pick a card from here. I'll shuffle it, choose that card, flip it over, and add a third card from this deck. And I'll shuffle it, flip it over. So then I've just done a mixed card reading. If I want to, I could just grid them. I can journal on it, and I can also journal through to individual cards, right? So I could just type, you've seen that already. And there it is, saved away. So it's ridiculously simple and easy. Then there it is, right? I mean, you see on the screen, but I'm just showing it's the same thing. And if you had a spread, for example. Yeah, here's a 3-card spread on this deck, right? So you can actually create your own spreads. So here's a 3-card spread. I choose this one, shuffle the deck, stop, and I can now, if I want to, I can just drag the cards in one by one into the reading, or I can use Quick Draw, which is a Deckable feature where Deckable picks the card for you, right? The universe picks the card, and I can go along and choose and add the last card in myself. I can reveal it, and I can flip the cards over, and you can see below here is the description of the card. I can click on any one of those cards. So For humility meditation, here's the description, the text from the text from the text that describes the card in the spread, and the text from the card itself. So it's all there, and that's saved away in my timeline. So there I am showing you both mixed card readings. I'm showing you card sorting, and I'm showing you mixed. I'm getting confused. I think. What was I going to show you? I don't know. Oh, this is so I'm just going to download this deck. Screen share. No, deck one. So here's my deck. I'm going to choose a card at random from. Just to make sure you hear this. Share screen. Switch on sound. Here we go. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Stop. Share screen and okay. So I've got this deck, and this deck has got an audio track with every single card, right? So I'm going to pick a card. I'm going to pick a card at random from this deck. So I'm going to shuffle the deck. Stop. I'm going to pick that card, close that down.
Acknowledgement. Yeah. What can you acknowledge today? A feeling, a reality, an insight, a truth, a person, a practice. Acknowledgement.
Is that cool or what? That's, that's ridiculously easy and simple for you to create that product and deliver that to someone's phone or tablet. There was one other thing I wanted to show you. There it is. Okay, I'm going to show you this. Share screen. Okay, I'm just downloading this deck, and this is the deck of ways that I mentioned before that has these transparent objects. So I'm just going to choose cards from the deck, and here they are. So I can choose flip, drag that in. I can choose deal. And you can see here, these are transparent because they slide over each other. So these could be any shapes, characters from a book. I'm going to show this. I'm going to draw a watch in here, right? Because that's one of the things you can do with a card deck. Oops. And watch is actually a state, because I could actually watch or listen or read. And I'm just flipping the card over. And you can combine these in any which way. I mean, this part of the reason to create this deck was just to demonstrate how fun it is to have tactile shapes. And once that's saved away, there it is, right? But you can play games with this. You can create games. You can create storytelling. You can create. It draws people in. You've got people's attention. That is a priceless achievement in this day and age. Here it is on your phone, on your tablet, on a Zoom call, wherever you want to use it. Okay, there's a bunch of questions I've been missing while I've been chatting. So, okay, going back to the, yes. Okay, I have a couple of minutes for it. Yes, there will be a recording. Okay, is there competition? Well, I mean, there were some really bad early tarot decks and different card deck apps that people have created, for sure. There is nobody out there with 500 decks across on one app that integrates tarot and oracle. There are some specialist tarot apps, we don't think they're as good as DEckible, but that, everyone has their freedom of choice. But we think DEckible is in a very unique position. It has way more momentum than anybody else in the market right now with 500 decks, and it's growing. And we have so much support from the industry. So I would say, well, we do have competition, but we think we've got a massive, massive lead. How about intellectual copyright? Yes, the IP is yours, 100% yours. You need to own the deck, so it needs to be your IP. You cannot, if someone copies your deck, the copied deck will not be published on DEckible. We will only be copying or uploading original artwork. So we are here to support you. As I said, the most important thing is that you, the artist, are happy. And that's job number one at DEckible, because if you're happy, we can build everything else from there, right? So we've listened to artists, and we've added in screenshot blocking if you want, because artists are concerned about their IP and being stolen. Now, we don't think it's a good feature to use, but it's your choice. You're the artist, it's your artwork. So we're very, very supportive of everything that artists need and the tools that you need to market and brand and sell your deck. Because selling your deck is not an overnight task. Having your deck does not mean your deck will sell. Your deck will sell when you market the living hell out of it. And we can help you do that and make that process fun. Is there well, instruction cards are just a guidebook, Mary. So we basically can integrate the guidebook with your deck, and the guidebook cards never get mixed up with the shuffle. So when we shuffle the cards, we don't shuffle cards that are guidebooks, because you wouldn't want to do a draw and then realize, why have I got a page from the guidebook on the page in my drawer? So that makes total sense. But they're there, they're never lost. And if you can have specific cards in the deck that are just like introduction and about you card, and what are the your other products card, and they don't pertain to an individual card. But if you have a guidebook where some of your guidebook pertains to specific cards, in that case, we recommend you put the guidebook as side 3, 4, and 5 of that card, as much as you need. Yeah. Oh, Lisa, absolutely. We do not have that, but it's a ridiculously easy thing to do, to read the text aloud to someone. So we do intend to add that. I think the cool thing is the reading ability has got so much better. The intonation of that, we haven't chosen to implement that yet, but we will. Are there any referral fees or commission? We have not built that in. Quite honestly, our focus is to support you, the artist, is why you get 42.5% from the selling price of the deck. If you compare that to Audible pays out 40%. If we started paying affiliate fees and commissions, that has to come from somebody. So it's going to come from you and from us, right? We're going to make less and you're going to make less. And then we know at some point in the process we'll need to do that. But now the time is to be on board where we haven't got that part of it, because we're trying to reward artists for their work. So we don't have that right now, but I think we will adopt it. We'll need to have an affiliate scheme at some point. So is DEckible digitally not for physical? Just wondering. Yes, it is. Yeah. So that's why the fit with Vervante is so clear, right? You want a print deck, go to Vervante. You want a digital deck, go to DEckible, and the DEckible digital deck links to Vervante, right? So it's a perfect partnership. And we encourage you, sell your decks everywhere. Yeah, absolutely. The more you market your decks, the more you will sell. Like, that's just a simple fact. If creators don't do their marketing because they don't like doing it, they will sell less than people who do. Thank you, Jen. Yeah, and so honestly, my feeling is jump on board. If you have resistances, vocalize them, but jump on board. And when you're on board, you can help us steer the bus, right? We're not done. We're not saying everything is perfect, but if you are with us and using the product, and you've got your loaded decks and you're selling and promoting your decks, your feedback matters, your voice matters, because you're participating. We can listen to you if you're part of it. You can help us shape it. So DEckible just keeps getting better because we've listened to so many people. What is the age demo who purchased decks? Great question. We have a target customer in mind. We call her Molly. That's a big clue. She's largely female. I think that's kind of, you know, I think 85-90% of anyone in the self-help industry has got a kind of strong female bias. We kind of think of her as being, you know, 30, 25, 30, 35, 40. But I think the problem with personas is, you know, everyone buys. Yeah, there's deck usage everywhere. I think the problem and the opportunity with decks is that, honestly, I think 5% of the population use decks today. Those people love them so much they own 10, 20, 50, 100 decks, and we don't think they're crazy. We think they're the smart ones, and our job is to try and help the rest of the population, the 95%, see the value of decks. So we're here to create a bigger pie to help sell more decks and help you sell more decks. So that's our focus. We think the bigger opportunity is people who don't have decks today, who don't know what decks are, because when they get it, and the modern consumer thinks digital first, right? They expect to have their music, their songs, their movies, and now their card decks on their phone. So, but people will then want to buy the physical deck because they love it so much they'll want it in the house, right? Does that make sense? Yeah, so honestly, the best thing is jump on board. And you know, we're continually adapting, listening, growing. You know, having 500 plus decks on Deckable is a major achievement. It means 500 people have been through the process before you. It means we just, you know, we've seen it before. We've got an answer. We have a solution to whatever it is. It's very flexible. And you've seen me playing with it today. You know, it's all there. But there's always more to do because it's a big product. It's a big ambitious vision that we have. And you can deliver a course via Deckable, right? You can bundle up audio and video and journaling, take notes and question and answer, and you've got a course. You can deliver a workbook as a deck, right? So thank you, Celeste. Yeah, so I mean, I think I've been going for about an hour and a quarter now, so I think I'm more than happy to answer more questions if they're there, but really happy to have had the opportunity. And honestly, the biggest thing I would say is bring your friends. You know, the hardest thing was to get to this point. Now we are here. You guys can all see what we have, the value. You can see the potential. Maybe it's too early for you. Maybe you need to wait a bit. That's fine. But join and bring friends. You know, everyone that has a deck knows someone else that has a deck. And the more people we have on Deckable, the more valuable Deckable is to everyone. And if each new creator brings 1,000 new customers with them to Deckable, every time we bring 100 creators, that's 100,000 new consumers that could be buying their decks, right? And they haven't bought your deck. Each new creator all their customers have not bought your deck yet. So it's a new opportunity that we're creating. So we think it's very exciting. We've made a lot of progress, and we just see so much opportunity ahead. So honestly, follow us on social media, connect with me on LinkedIn. More than happy to connect with anyone and everyone who sends me an invite on LinkedIn. You can find me Nick Kellett. I'm Nick Kellett on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. I'm on TikTok. You can watch my videos. You can listen to hours and hours of me if you really have the need. And I'm more than happy to help ask individual questions and answers. You can book a Zoom with me. I'm more than happy to do that, right? So, you know, just accept there's no such thing as a stupid question. This is all new. This is cool stuff. It's new for everyone. It's new for you, and it's new for your customers. So don't worry about repetition. We're here to support and nurture everything that we're doing. And, you know, we're here to support your creativity. I think some of the decks, I mean, I showed you probably, I don't know, you saw probably 200, 150 decks from the slides I showed today. There are so many amazing decks on there, and it's just only getting better day by day, week by week. So, yeah, thanks everyone. If there's any other questions, just throw them up. I'm more than happy to share. But Hey, Cindy. Good to see you. Everyone's muted, so.
Sorry about the confusion on
Yeah,
time.
oh, that's okay. No worries. Also, the best thing I'd suggest to you as well, is go and buy 5 decks on Deckable. You know, see what other people have done, and see how they use their decks, and use the honestly the best advice is use Deckable every day for a month. Use different decks. Tell us what you think. Like, we're not saying it's perfect. It's going to get better and better from here, but it gets better if you drive it. We need to hear that feedback. And if you see how other people have created and used their decks, I guarantee that experience will help you create better decks moving forward, right? It just makes sense. Because one of the things we've recognized is Deckable is here for daily practice. You get these bright ideas, you need to do something, you need to do it every day to turn it into a habit. And that's what Deckable makes easy. So it's fun to do, and you can journal, you've seen all that good stuff. And the masculine side, oh my gosh, okay. Wow, I didn't think that. I'm very conscious about male, female, gender bias, and I actually feel Deckable, I mean, it's got pink in the logo, it's purple. But I'm not trying to be defensive in saying that, but I'm very conscious because I was with a startup called Listly as the founder, and oh my God, that was very, very masculine bias. And so it's easy to slip in to that. You'll think the app itself has a very white feel to it, and because really the color and the sense comes from the decks. Right, that's the important thing. So thanks for that feedback though, Jen. So cool. Yeah, so anyone's more than willing to, you know, if you've got questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. Just send me information, or I can connect with you all individually. But you know, we're all, you know, we can all name things that we're early adopters for, right? You know, and we can all name things that we're late adopters for. And you know yourself. But honestly, this is such a serious. If you are a creator that wants to make a recurring revenue from digital assets, you are at an amazing point and time to be able to see this and be experiencing this, because card decks on your phone, we think the market for card decks is as big as for business books, if not more, right? So not so much novels, but it's a very, everyone could have a deck in their pocket, is what we feel. Yeah, I'm more than happy to keep chatting if people are listening. I don't mind chatting forever, but I don't want to bore everyone. But you know, tell me anyone want to tell me about their deck or show their deck? My email address is nick@deckable.com or nick@nickhallett.com. They all arrive at me. So very accessible. Cool. That sounds fun. I love animal decks. Yeah, great. Thank you. Yeah, and honestly, you know, more than happy, more people to like. I often feel people don't voice their resistances, you know, and it's just we don't bite. We're here to help you. You don't have to come to Deckable, but it's better to ask the question or raise the point that's stopping you, and let us answer it. You know, what you do is up to you. You can come to Deckable in 5 years' time or 10 years' time. It doesn't matter. But it's better to ask the questions if you have concerns, because I've been through hundreds and thousands of these conversations. So I've answered, you know, a lot of these questions along the way. And I'm appreciative that every artist has different sentiment, different thinking process, and it's very personal. It is your artwork. So you're trusting us with your metaphoric firstborn. So we understand that responsibility.
Hey, Nick, or could I ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is Sheila. So yeah, so we have a business called Life is Zine. We summarize life stories in a magazine format.
Oh, wow.
And
Yes, please.
yeah, so our demographic, I mean, I love the concept, and I'm thinking it may help us collect, so we have a series of questions that we give to the client. Usually it's like an older or it's like they have aging parents, and the kids are coordinating this. And so I think our demographic is a little bit older, 55
Right.
plus,
Well,
45. But I was wondering if I could, create the deck, or just what your thoughts on that, create the deck. And I just don't know if I could get our demographic to write the answers to the questions, because then they could share the answers with us, and then we could create their end product. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, we actually have creators on DEckible who are 85, 86.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
We have a full spectrum of that. And I think, the tablet is an important answer for that demographic. It's bigger than the phone. It's more comfortable, I think. It's in our roadmap to have a DEckible desktop version. So it runs in a browser, because that also, I think, it's so interesting. You have different people tell you what technology a certain demographic uses.
Would do, yeah. So I was thinking,
the honest answer is they all use everything, differently.
Yeah.
No one segment is one thing or another.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, I could see somebody, older, like in their 60s, 70s, they have an iPad, could create a deck. They could, pull it up. We have 52 questions to ask, and they could just kind of type the answers down. I mean, I think that would work beautifully.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That sounds wonderful. And then publishing the results sounds like that becomes really cool, right?
Yeah. And do you I was going to ask.
You can make that so social, because you could actually have the question of the day and have a whole community of people providing their answer to a question.
Oh,
And that'll take you, that will help you drive kind of social growth.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Wow. And then we could use those answers. Yeah, because basically we send them a PDF with the questions.
Well, okay,
but
so
this seems a lot more fun. Yeah.
It totally is. Honestly, do it, please, because what you're describing is a PDF. It's a workbook, right? No age group uses PDFs anymore. That was a 1985 to 1990, and we've been getting off PDFs, but we still use them. And with a deck where you can actually type and respond to every question on every card,
and then send it to us.
Yeah, totally.
Or send it to their family or whoever.
Exactly, right? Like we have Bronnie Ware on DEckible. I don't know if you know who Bronnie Ware is, but the author, the Regrets of the Dying.
Okay, I'll have to look at that. DEckible.
Top selling book on that topic, and she has a deck on DEckible.
Okay. Yeah, that's what's going to be my next question. Are there other, people in the life story memoir space? Yeah.
We will support you. I would say, okay, you must know of 5 other decks in that space. We'll get them on DEckible. We'll cluster them together. We'll market them, and because the more decks there are of a given topic on DEckible, the more appealing it is to more people.
Okay.
Going back to Susan's question about saying she has an animal deck, we have a bunch of animal decks on DEckible. That is more valuable to every animal lover the more decks with animals there are on DEckible. It's just a fact, because you turn up and go, oh my God, look, all these decks. And you just go, and you can literally buy every one of those decks if you love animals, right?
Okay. Awesome. I just got another brilliant idea. I think we could do it on there too. Collecting or having our demographic, write like tribute letters or love letters to their, kids.
Yeah, totally. That would be awesome. I would love to brainstorm on that with you to see if there's things like that. Sounds very interesting.
Like notes or like life notes or something like that. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Because we're iterating on the sharing features to how to improve that. And what you're almost describing is some kind of collaboration community feature where people feel more encouraged to tell their story when they see somebody else sharing their story, then they're not the only one.
Right.
And there's an idea of welcoming people in from the shadows to entice them to join in the conversation and make it fun. It's a bit like the whole Tom's painting the wall, make it look fun, and everyone wants to come and pay you to paint.
Yeah.
So I'm a big fan of crowdsourcing as a mechanic, and the idea of I think a lot about lurkers and how do you bring this people out of the shadows and get them to participate. I have a lot of experience on that, crowdsourcing and online engagement. Yeah.
Okay. No, I would love to I would love to explore that, because I think it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
For
I love
what we're doing.
I love the idea of a magazine.
Yeah, it's in our business is new, so it's a new concept we just launched like a month ago, and we're trying to get out there.
Right. So, I mean, you basically can say, here's this month's magazine. There's another deck next month, right? You could be on a membership where you get the new edition every month, right?
Oh wow. Yeah.
That's
That's good.
Because the idea of news, they're kind of it's a sort of variation on the theme of newsletters. You're digitally delivering people to the latest information. And what's unique about DEckible is we've made that shift from being pure consumption, where we're just reading and listening and watching, to participating.
Yeah.
And participation is where DEckible really excels, because then you know the participation is the moving the cards around. Right. In fact, in meditation, they say to you, like, how many times have you heard people say, return to the breath, return to the breath? Why do you need to say that? Because we've actually got distracted, right? When you're pinching and zooming cards and doing a card sort, that fine finger motion keeps you 100% present. So we're not having to come back because you haven't gone anywhere.
Right. Yeah. And if they don't want to answer this question, they can go on to another question.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay. Right. No, I think it.
And you could literally have a card that has 5 questions on it. You just flip it over. Which side do you want to answer? Right. Flip.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I got lots of ideas. I'll definitely be in touch. I definitely want to pursue this. I think
it sounds like if you've got a new business, then this is an incredibly cheap way to experiment with 10 different things before you commit yourself to any one path, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right. Well, I will be in touch. Thank you.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Wow. Thank you. Thanks, Lisa. How you doing? Anyone else want to? How you doing, Susan? Has this been valuable for you? Cool. Yeah, I'm just, more than happy to, follow me, share, reach out, connect, LinkedIn, chat about this stuff. Is what I do all day long. And I love uncovering, helping people uncover their projects, right? Because there's just so much to share, say, do, and, taking ideas to the finishing line is often hard. And what's so great being on this call is everyone's already got a product, right? You've all made a deck, you've all made a book, a journal, or something. So it's just the success of scaling that idea and bringing, managing more products. Yeah, great. Okay, cool. Thanks, Lee.